Oh. Hello and welcome to episode 341 of the Player One podcast for Monday, May 13th, 2013. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, is my co-host, straight from California, our very own mini on the move, Phil Theobald.
Because I'm slightly of average height.
Diminutive.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is the politically correct term.
Yes. But thank you. I do like to consider myself to be on the move quite frequently.
Yes. And joining us from Canada is a guy who is very excited for the Gran Turismo announcement this week and its eventual release in 2016, Mr. Greg Seward.
I'm wetter than I've ever been. And I'm Canadian.
2016 seems optimistic, too.
Yeah.
It kind of does.
I think it'll be out this year.
Well, we shall see. We shall find out
That's
if you're
even
right.
more optimistic.
I'm going to add that to my Deadpool.
Ooh, good one.
Thank you.
And rounding it out in the fourth chair from the great state of Utah. What happened to my video? Went away.
That's a weird name.
I can see your video just fine.
Okay. There's a
A
guy
man with the power to pause
video.
video.
It'll be, a guy who will soon be starting a Kickstarter to shut down frivolous video game related Kickstarters, Mr. Mike Phillips.
It's a Kickstopper. I'm launching Kickstopper. It's going to be badass. I think I can get a lot of support for it.
I'm very proud of myself for
so.
calling how shady the whole Eternal Darkness Kickstarter thing actually turned out to be.
That's
yeah,
not
so
even
how about that,
Kickstarter.
huh? That's not a Kickstarter. That's just a donation box.
Yeah.
That's a box.
And I'm just going to point out
That they're Canadian?
I'm going to point out once again that you can really do a podcast for pretty much free. It really,
Yeah, especially if you're just going to turn on a microphone while you're at work.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they need professional microphones, and they need an audio guy.
It would be akin to going to lunch and pressing record.
Well, I think anyone who listens to this podcast knows that we could use some professionalism around here.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we
an
could hire some hosts.
audio engineer. Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, why didn't they just do a donation thing? Why use Kickstarter for that? They set the goal at $10.
More advertising.
More
that's where all
free press.
That's where all the kids spend their money these days, is Kickstarter.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a feeling this is the type of thing that Ben Cuchero would write a scathing article about if he wasn't the editor of the Arcade Report.
Oh, yeah. It'd be on his very subtly named personal blog, thecooch.com.
I have a feeling that this is the type of thing that the two cartoonists themselves would actually do a very sarcastic strip about, which they did.
Yes, they did.
Before they did a Kickstarter strip about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did a Kickstarter strip earlier. Before. Anyway.
Correct. I see CJ's got this copy of Super 3D's Noah's Ark up back there. I never noticed that before today.
I love Super 3D Noah's Ark. It is the best Doom clone ever. clone ever created.
Actually, it's more of a Wolfenstein clone.
I said Wolfenstein. I corrected myself.
Ah, okay.
Wolfenstein, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a non-violent Bible game. I'll have you know.
As opposed to all those violent Bible games.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't a Bible game be violent?
As long as
it's be accurate, the Bible game should be pretty goddamn violent.
Revelations, dude.
Oh, nice way to throw in a little blasphemy there, too. That was nice.
I prefer the part of the Bible that Sunday Funday is based upon.
Oh, where the part where you have to skateboard around to get to church. And
that's how Jesus got places. They just took that out of the Bible.
Yeah.
He's got the hair for it.
It's true. So are we done talking about Penny Arcade Kickstarter?
I just would like to know how much each of you contributed, and then we can move on.
Zero.
The $50.
Because I went 100 because I thought I don't know. Seemed alright.
I did the.
Well, this will fund 20 whole episodes of the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, if they meet
That's
their
a
goal.
lot.
I mean, come on. They got to meet the goal first.
Right.
Yeah.
Got all those stretch goals too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my least favorite part was setting the goal at $10. Just so you
to
know,
make sure they got every cent they.
Yeah. If it ends up at $22, they get all 22 of those.
Yeah. That's honestly the part that bothered me about it more than anything else.
Well, yeah. I think that's most people's beef with it.
Yeah.
God, I love beef.
Yeah, beef is pretty darn tasty.
It is.
I am a fan.
Yes.
How about that Shadow of the Eternals, though? That I'm excited about that.
So did you read? Did you read the Polygon story about that?
My money out. No, I did not.
Oh, really? It's like I was saying. It's just as shady as I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
apparently,
if you read the terms of use or whatever, they it's not like Kickstarter where if the project doesn't get funded, you get your money back.
Right.
No, but
It's basically they get to keep your money.
It's even worse than that, though. It's like a shadow company, basically.
you should go read the
yeah.
Polygon article, because basically what's come of this is that they laid off everybody from Silicon Knights, and apparently they owe millions of dollars to the Ontario government when they used a ton of taxpayer money, which I mentioned last week. But apparently there's a new company that's running this donation drive, which is basically Silicon Knights. Even has Dennis Dyack working for them. Even has all the old computers from Silicon Knights.
Yeah.
Finn's upset. Let him through. Just let him through, hon. He can come over here.
Is it because we're bad-mouthing Dennis Dyack, or is it...
We're going to have to kickstart a babysitter for Finn.
Yeah.
A soundproof play area.
God, you should put some clothes on that kid.
He just got out of the tub.
So anyway,
this is all above board.
Yeah, you should go read the Polygon article, because it is just as bad and worse as everyone thought it was.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's extremely shady, and it's not just give us lots of money and we might make a game. It's worse than that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's also they're looking for $1.5 million to make the first episode, and there's no guarantee that they'd ever get past that, right?
Well,
right.
Of course
Even
not.
though some of their stretch goals include, getting the first 6 episodes or 12 episodes or whatever. Like, there's just, no
if there is ever a first episode, there will never be a second episode.
No.
I highly doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting
It's
article,
bad.
and you should read it. I think that I found it because of Mark McDonald on Twitter, who called the whole thing a shell game, and it feels like a shell game.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about Electronic Arts doing the Star Wars games, huh?
Oh yeah,
This got announced right the day after we recorded.
Yep.
So,
why
Phil,
is this people are all worked up about this for some reason. I don't
Because
understand
EA
why.
is terrible. Don't you know that?
that's right. Don't you remember SimCity? Hello, duh.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers SimCity. That's the brilliance of it.
Exactly. Don't you remember they're voted the worst company in America?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
2 years running.
The unfortunate thing is a company that is owned by EA made the best Star Wars game of all time. So that sort of makes it a little bit better, I think. Right?
They made TIE Fighter?
Knights of the Old Republic.
Masters of Terrascasi?
God. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's interesting just because EA has been in such financial problems and such tumult lately. It makes me wonder if it's like this is them trying to grab at something that can save them. Like that if they have the Star Wars license, then suddenly they have, they're guaranteed some dough.
That's true.
I suppose. So if it wasn't EA that got Star Wars, are there any publishers you think could do justice to the license?
Activision.
Ubisoft?
I don't know. I mean, if
Rockstar? Huh?
Oh God.
No.
No?
It's not like LucasArts was always the most legendary developer publisher anyway. So I don't see any reason to believe EA can't make good Star Wars games, or as good as they have been anyway.
Right.
Yeah. It should be good.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Seems like a non-story, really.
Yeah, I have no qualms about it.
Plus, they'll have a whole series of new movies to base games on in a couple of years.
True that.
They'll be raking in the dough.
Yes.
Certainly. All right. There goes that topic.
Well,
let's talk about some video games.
The best thing is that there's nowhere to go but up from here. So.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
there
true.
You go. That's perfect, yes. All right, so let's talk about some video games.
Video games?
I'm into them.
Let's start with the Fuse demo.
Didn't try it.
This is going to be fucking shorter than EA doing Star Wars games.
This could be.
Oh my god. What?
I'll tell you what,
I feel like I have to renounce my love of Insomniac at some point because they just keep...
I had fun with the demo, although it's a very, very plain shooter. Like
CJ got really high before he tried the demo. Like really high.
But I didn't think it was terrible. I just thought it was, middle of the road.
Terrible.
If Insomniac's name was not on this, I would not be interested in it in the slightest.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you could put any developer's name on this. They have... Their hallmark is having these really cool, crazy, interesting weapons, and maybe I missed some of that in the demo. Maybe that's not in the demo, but...
That's because Mark Cerny's not working with them anymore.
all of that feels really generic, too, all of the weapons and the way...
Well, there is some of that, though, but
you can kind of combo things together.
It's not too terribly different from what they had already done in Resistance, right?
It seemed a hell of a lot more boring than Resistance to me, but
well, there's that. Yeah.
Even the enemies that you're fighting against are just kind of generic helmeted soldiers, which are not interesting as the enemies in Resistance. And I don't know, the rifle that you start out with, you can actually see the bullets coming out of it and the arc that they make because it shoots so slowly. And I don't know, everything about it just is really bland. It looks kind of boring. And why did they change that art style in the first place? Did they ever give a rationale for why they did that? Was I at PAX East?
Yeah.
They didn't really give a rationale for the change in art style. No.
They just did it.
They
showed the trailer at E3, heard the feedback that everybody loved it and thought it looked amazing, and said, well, shit, we got to change that pretty quick.
I guess so.
That's just weird.
And it is weird. I thought Overstrike looked pretty great.
It looked awesome.
And it's not like they severed all ties with Overstrike because they kept the name of the damn team. Right. And the characters are pretty similar. They're just wearing very boring outfits now.
Yeah, they have no sort of discernible style to them whatsoever. They could be plopped in there from any third-person shooter of the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Is pretty disappointing because even Resistance has its own kind of unique style and feel that you recognize right away, but this just does not. It just feels really boring.
And the unfortunate thing is that this is, built to be a co-op shooter.
Right.
If you don't buy the game, the first few weeks, it may be a situation where good luck finding people to play with.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. On the weekends, I stay up late and play games, and usually I'm in a Skype conversation with a bunch of people who are even bigger smartasses than I am, and we were all simultaneously downloading the Fuse demo. We didn't play it co-op. We sort of simultaneously started it at the same time, finished around the same time, and when I asked them what they thought of it, already deleted it. Like I know everything I need to know from that demo. I'm not touching that game with attention.
Yeah, Hacker Alias... Famous Mortimer said Fuse demo more like snooze demo. Am I right?
There you go. That's the type of quality humor.
That's good stuff.
It's just so indicative, like you say, of how much you have to wonder if you have to turn in your Insomniac fan card because it used to be that their name attached to anything meant I would at least download and try it.
Yeah,
I would even consider buying it almost automatically, but like after. I wasn't really interested in it. I actually stopped paying attention to it altogether until we went to PAX East, and I sat in on the very end of that panel that you were at, CJ.
Oh, my God.
Where you were constantly calling it the game nobody wanted, And
no, it's exactly right. It's the game nobody wants from Insomniac.
Right, and then they showed the footage, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never playing this. Like, just nothing interesting about it whatsoever. And it sounds like the demo proved it out.
I mean, it looks like a very plain vanilla shooter.
Completely.
So,
yeah, you would never know it was those guys. And their previous game, well, I guess the downloadable Ratchet game, that was pretty good. But All for One was a pretty big disappointment too.
Oh my god,
it's been a while since I was head over heels for an Insomniac game, which is a bummer because prior to that, I was head over heels for almost every Insomniac game.
Yeah. Even the disappointing ones were still kind of fun.
Right.
Resistance 2 wasn't a great game.
No, but it had its moments.
I played through it start to finish, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about a different shooter. This one that I liked last week and nobody else did. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon, yeah. I finished.
As did I.
You did not.
I did.
Really?
It's not a very long game.
It's not very long at all.
It's really no feat to finish it. And actually, I saw that Mike finished it on the outline, so I was like, oh shit, I gotta finish it today. I was going around just doing the garrisons and hunting down the various animals on the island, and when I saw that you had finished it, I was like, well shit, now I have to.
Yeah, a shame completion. I love a shame completion.
That's exactly what it is.
That's the best kind.
That's right. So, we're going to maybe get into some spoiler talk here. But what do you think of the... What?
Can you spoil anything in this game? I don't know.
I think you can. You can.
Okay.
What do you think of the final sort of area? And by that, I mean the Mortal Kombat style run up to the end. I
thought that it was weird in as much as it was, here's something that you have not been doing at all, and we're just going to throw it at you, regardless of the fact that it's not a very good idea, nor is it fun, but here you go. It
seems like a bunch of filler in this game that's already like 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's so, you know what it reminded me of was, I don't know if you ever played Dante's Inferno.
No,
baby.
You get very near the end of Dante's Inferno, and it seems like they realize, shit, this game is about half as long as it needs to be. And they dump in these trials where all of these enemies flood in, and you have to do all, you have to hit 50 enemies while in the air. You have to, it puts all of these weird requirements on you to extend the game another 45 minutes or so, and then you get to the end of the game. And this is like
inch long.
This is exactly like that.
They plunk you into an arena, and there's one weapon. You pick up the weapon, and then like a big flood of zombies essentially flood in, and you have to take them all out. And then you go to the next wave, and it does that a half a dozen times.
I thought at least terrible. Thematically, the whole Mortal Kombat style test your might type thing was cool.
I snickered
at the beginning.
I'll give you that.
But before you go in there, of course, it says, "Oh, are you sure you want to do that? Because there's
no turning back.
You won't be able to turn back." I thought, well, maybe I should liberate some more garrisons and upgrade my weapons if this is going to be the final battle. Turns out that didn't matter at all, because you don't even have your weapons in that final area.
Exactly. And not only that, once you finish that and you do go on to the final battle, you wouldn't need weapons anyway, because they just give you the God Gun. And
they give you the God Gun, exactly. The Kill Star.
Yeah, with unlimited ammo.
Oh, jeez.
You basically just hold down a button and kill everything.
Well, the Kill Star doesn't have unlimited ammo, right? Because it's based on your life bar.
Okay. Well, as long as you're alive.
As long as you're alive.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
It
gives you enough
unlimited ammo.
It turns out you don't need a lot of ammo when you're dead, though.
Yeah.
No.
It's an interesting feature of this game. Unlike a lot of, in Call of Duty, when I'm waiting to respawn, I'm often concerned about ammo. So.
Yeah, but after the little test your might area, which could have been easily deleted out of this whole game, I thought the run up to the end was pretty cool. There were a couple situations where I had blood dragons do my bidding there in the final bit.
Yeah.
And they give you this at the very, very end, this vehicle, this like souped up blood dragon to ride out of the last area.
You ride a dragon and shoot lasers from his head.
Shoot lasers. You do. And that is pretty friggin' awesome to look at. But again, unlimited ammo, and you don't even have a life bar at that point. You can't be killed.
Exactly. You can't die.
So it's really just a slightly interactive cutscene at that point up to the end.
And it's kind of like that portion actually reminds me a lot of Snakes on a Plane, in as much as hearing the premise and the title is hilarious. Actually seeing the movie, not so much. And like saying you're going to ride a dragon that shoots lasers from his head. That sounds awesome. And then when you do it, it's not really all that fun.
I thought it was awesome.
Oh, okay.
Completely awesome.
You just.
But then again, I like this game for its absolute badness. You know, like I'm not saying that this is any sort of great shooter that everyone should pick up and play.
And I still don't understand that. Like, I have no concept of so bad it's good, because, like, so for example, the tutorial, when the tutorial drags on forever and he says this tutorial is shit.
Yeah.
I don't see how that forgives you for doing a tutorial that's shit. It's still a tutorial that's shit, and you're making me play it.
I was fine with that, though, because I hadn't played Far Cry 3. So there were some things in there that I just wouldn't have known about otherwise.
Like the walking forward or how to look around?
No, like the comboing takedowns and being able to shuriken people out of those, and throwing the dice to distract enemies.
I see.
Such like that. Yeah.
So you started playing Far Cry 3 then?
I did.
So tell me about that.
Far Cry 3.
Tell me about how much more fun it is to turn tigers loose on an encampment than it is to turn those dragons loose on an encampment.
I wanted to finish Blood Dragon first before I got too far in Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
For fear of spoiling any of that game. No. But Far Cry 3 certainly starts off really frigging awesomely. I was really, really impressed with
the whole premise
game.
When it starts, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, so I haven't played too far in, but I already love it. And in fact, I think it's good that I got through Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon before I started playing Far Cry 3, because it opens up some of those abilities in Blood Dragon way sooner than you get them in 3. So
it does.
I think I'll just have a lot more familiarity with all of those systems by the time I get to them. So I like.
Plus, how nice is it to see the sun again? Isn't it delightful to see the sun shining and actually be able to see the landscape that you're traipsing through?
Yeah, it's a little bit nice. I like it.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I am enjoying it quite a bit. And Greg, you're playing that as well?
Yeah, I played a bunch more this week. And as much as I I really like the open world stuff, I also think that when they start to funnel you down into specific story missions, they do such a good job at it. The missions are really interesting, I find anyway. I mean, it's all pretty standard first-person shooter stuff, but it's done with such a high level of production value that it's great.
Now,
by the way,
the problem is, and I'm going to warn you both, you need to go ahead and abandon any hope that you have right now for the story being worth a squirt of piss. You need to just let that go.
Sure.
Because it's another game. It kind of has a similar problem that I had with Bioshock Infinite, which is it's not content to have its simple, nice story and tell it really well. It has to conflate all of these other things into it. And it's really bad in Far Cry 3. Like, the premise that gets set up in the beginning that you love, CJ, that's enough for the game. Like, that would be good enough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But they can't leave it at that. They have to dump a whole bunch of other crap that is terrible into it, and it sort of spoils that.
That being said, though, what I'm really digging about it so far is sort of just the openness of it. I mean, I'm taking all these sort of submissions on and everything, and knowing that I can approach them in pretty much any way I want to. A couple missions that I actually failed, and I ended up just coming at them from a different angle. Really enjoying it. And the constant threat of the wildlife
Yes.
The game is just that's like a whole other element that you don't get anywhere else.
Goddamn Komodo dragons.
Oh my god, I got set upon by like I was sneaking through some area, and I was so proud of myself because I was getting towards one of the radio towers, and there were all these patrols all around me, and I didn't have any map or any warning that they were there except for the sound of their jeeps coming, and I was doing so well at avoiding them. And then out of nowhere, fucking Komodo dragon just attacks me, and I didn't have anything. I couldn't kill him with my knife, so I had to shoot him. And of course, then I just swarmed by all these patrolling enemies. But the best part was that there were like 3 dragons left in the group, and they totally started to ignore me and just went after those guys.
That's awesome.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that about Blood Dragon as well.
It was great.
Yeah, going back to Blood Dragon for just a second. So
I gotta get my copy of Super Mario Brothers.
Alright, so no, I'm not even gonna really talk about Blood Dragon so much as I find it interesting that the industry freaked out when Grand Theft Auto did the hot coffee thing, which didn't show jack shit for sex if you see the videos of what ended up in that game. And then you've got a game like Blood Dragon that has, female nudity in it, and the animation is bad, but there is like on-screen doing it.
Is that in the ESRB box on the back when it explains the things? Mild violence, on-screen doing it. That's the list of
course.
I do not understand.
If it said that in the ESRB.
Explain it as you would a child. Yeah.
I actually don't remember that part.
You don't?
No.
That was CJ's favorite part.
When was that?
All right.
And did you have Cinemax on picture-in-picture?
Was really high.
Did you just skip the cinematics then? You might have skipped past it, but I believe it's after you complete the Mortal Kombat type area.
The little 8-bit
you run into
or 16-bit cinematic things.
Dr. Darlene and make the sex with her, and then she gets kidnapped.
Well,
and then you go into the final. Make sexy times.
You're gonna get to make the sex and see the female nudity in Far Cry 3, and it's gonna look a whole lot more like actual boobs. So get excited if you're a fan of actual boobs.
That actually worries me more.
Everyone freaked out about hot coffee, and then you have other.
I think the thing about hot coffee was that it was
hidden.
It wasn't. Yeah, that it was hidden.
And it was in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So
which you're supposed to get all upset about. So
exactly. Right. All right. Let's
fans of realistic boobs rejoice.
Yes.
Let's
talk about what?
You should play the Saboteur. Your own
base. Let's talk about Bioshock.
Definitely play the Saboteur.
Saboteur is awesome. Bioshock Infinite.
Yes.
Phil, you have returned to the game. You've returned to Columbia.
Yes, I have. I have finally decided to try and finish that game just because it's sitting there.
It's a good reason.
Yeah.
Got to get it out of the backlog.
Want to get it out of there.
Sounds like you're really passionate about it.
Really.
That game is.
Well,
I might as well finish this shit.
No, I'm not. And it's all due to the combat. I'm interested in the story, but I don't care about the combat because it just feels kind of sloppy. And I took right now I am where have I gone? I've gone through the shantytown, and I am about to go into what's it called? The Comstock house.
Oh wow! So you're okay.
Yeah. I'm
You're
very
getting
close.
I like that there was a sign for Shantytown that said Shantytown.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Who the fuck names their place Shantytown? I mean, what do you expect?
Pride for that. You, Phil, I don't know. Yeah.
What?
You're in one of the worst parts of the game.
Yeah, I'm picking that up.
Yeah.
Are you fighting Ghost Mom?
No.
That's what I didn't want to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Get excited.
Have fun.
Okay. No
Have
Ghost Mom.
fun.
So, but you dropped the difficulty down.
I did. I dropped it down to easy.
I don't think it'll make it any less annoying.
No,
Really?
it doesn't. It
Okay.
doesn't.
Great.
I'm thinking about doing the same thing when I eventually come back to the game.
Yeah. Which will be never. But
No, I think it will. I just finished Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
wow.
I finished
4-hour game.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm getting very irritated. I mean, the fights are just they're boring.
Interminable, also
yeah,
a word that you could use.
Kind of
You're
sloppy.
gonna love the next part of the game.
And I mean, it's not quite as bad as those in Dead Space 3, but still not good.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is? I think it's, when the combat was like that in Bioshock, everything else around it was so good that it sort of hid that. But even the shooter genre, the first-person shooter genre, has come so far since that original Bioshock. But Infinite is basically the old Bioshock stuff again. It's like, here's the same combat, and here's the same...
I don't think it's as good as the first Bioshock in that, especially we take out the big daddies and the little sisters, because that kind of added something where you would have a couple of factions that you were fighting, so you could actually there was a lot more chaos to it, and you could sort of stand back and let them pick away at each other a little bit too, which the Bioshock Infinite kind of does for like 20 minutes, and then then somebody decides they hate you, and then it's just everybody in the room turns on you. So I was kind of disappointed in that too. I actually felt like the scenarios were a little bit better combat-wise in the first Bioshock, and in the second one.
Yeah, and it does just rely way too much on the shooty than the first game ever did. I mean, it really just does feel just like a typical FPS at this point.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
You have a big arena to shoot your way through, and then essentially hallways where Elizabeth tells you story, and then you're at the next arena, basically.
That's exactly it. And every time, and this has been happening, as I'm getting further into the game, I'll start to approach an open area, and I'll see, the outlines
the tears,
of the tears that she can open up, and I'll see a tear that just says cover. And I'm just, really? There a way around
what's
this
coming
room
out
or something. So, yep. Also, I find myself, I don't really mix up the vigors that much.
No, that's another problem with the game. Although I'd say you could kind of level that criticism at the previous two games as well, because I know that in those two games I got to the point where there were a couple that I always used.
Yeah,
and that was about it.
I pretty much just use the possession one.
Yeah, that's the most useful one for sure.
Yeah.
But it should be part of the game design to give you enemies or situations where it makes more sense to use this vigor than that one. Just almost to force you into experimenting with them and discovering what the other ones do.
Well, and you know what? It seems like they've tried to set that up, but the way the battles are scripted and the layout of the arenas, it's just so poorly designed. Because I'll enter a room, and as soon as I come in, suddenly there's 20 guys shooting at me, and I'll just run behind whatever cover's there, throw out a possession, let that guy run around and kill some people. I'll take a few pot shots, and I'll just stand there and repeat that until the room's cleared out.
Yeah.
And then I start walking to the other side of the room to leave, and I see, here's a big puddle of oil that clearly they wanted me to set on fire, and here's a tear that reveals a puddle of water that I could have electrified, but had I actually attempted to go for any of those, I would have gotten killed. So it was just easy enough to stay right at the entrance and take care of everyone that way.
Yeah, you play exactly the way I did, because that was pretty much every battle, except for the final battle, because you really couldn't be that way. But I kept my distance and just took shots at people. And I felt the exact same way. I'd wander around. It's like, there's a puddle of water, there's a puddle of oil, there's a hook. I could have done a lot of stuff, creative stuff, in this battle, and it would have made it way more exciting, I'm sure. But there was really no
incentive.
They never reach you out of your cover, basically, and the only time they really do that is with the handymen. But they're so fast and such bullet sponges that it's not fun. It's just, you just unload on them until they die, and there's really nothing else you can do.
Every handyman fight with me has been me running backwards and shooting.
Yeah.
So until it falls over. So I don't know.
Good times.
It's
a real downer.
Downer.
We haven't been excited about. Well, no, I guess we all like Far Cry 3, so that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, Far Cry 3's
we do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, did you not play Minis on the Move?
No, I did not.
He lives it.
Because you were all about the Mario and Donkey Kong games.
Those games are great.
I'm all about the 1994 Donkey Kong game. If that's what you
aren't all about the games they put out before this that were sort of in that vein. Right? The Minis.
The ones that aren't the ones that aren't actually in that vein at all are just like Lemmings.
Yeah, that
one. The ones that are nothing like Donkey Kong 94, but pretty much exactly like Lemmings.
But are meant to
extend
that.
Oh no, they're
series,
good.
Right.
Donkey Kong 94 is much better and more interesting, but they are good.
No, they are
just
good
Lemmings.
Games. Yes, but you know what? I mean, they are good games. I do like them, but they typically don't hold my interest for that long. Lemmings was the same way. I'll play a couple levels and have some fun with it, and then just kind of get bored with it after an hour or two. So I did not decide to get this one, and this one it's not even Lemmings. It's more like Pipe Dream at this point, right?
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like Lemmings in that you have to prevent a mini from falling off of a track. Basically, you're placing sections of track for it to go down, collect
so it's
coins, and then get to
Pipe Dream.
So it's like Pipe Dream. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's exactly like Lemmings if Lemmings was exactly like Pipe Dream.
Well, I've not played Pipe Dreams, so
really?
I don't think so. No.
So
did you play
I played?
Hey, CJ.
Played the mini game in Bioshock.
Did you play Bioshock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you played Pipe Dream.
Fine. Yeah.
That's Pipe Dream.
The difference is that in this game, the mini is constantly moving along the track.
That's Pipe Dream.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Then that's Pipe Dream.
Yeah. Pipe Dream. Instead of a little mini, it's water flowing through the pipe.
Gotcha.
You have to assemble the pipe before the water overflows.
And you lose a mini.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I wish there was a demo or something. I didn't want to drop it.
There isn't at the moment. I ended up picking it up because of the glowing reviews.
Yeah.
That most sites that I trust posted, but
do you trust those sites anymore?
Boring. So I don't know.
From the way you were talking, it sounded like you were kind of getting on my case for not buying it. Now you're like, it's kind of boring.
You wanted someone else to suffer with him.
I wanted somebody else to suffer with me. Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have played this back in 1992 on a PC somewhere.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll play a little more of it, but not terribly impressed with it.
That's too bad.
All right, so you picked up Book of Spells as well, Phil?
Awesome.
What's the deal with that?
Worth every penny.
I did. On Amazon, it was $8.
Wow.
$8. Whoa.
It's $2 less than I paid for mine.
So
wow.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Phil got muted.
Yeah.
I muted. Did I get muted?
Back. No,
Okay.
That's how excited Phil was. You don't know what happened to his keyboard, but you can guess.
Yeah.
He cast a spell.
Yeah.
I must have. Actually, I was.
Right.
Oh, you know what?
You were typing. You were typing. That's why I muted you.
Yes, I was typing, and it looks like Amazon sold out of their $8 copies. So,
dope.
But yeah, it was $8, and I figured why not? Seward liked it, said it was worth the $10. So, for $2 cheaper, it's got to be better.
How can you go wrong?
Yeah. So
exactly.
So did you try it?
yeah, it's a cute little game.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's
You have to be a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah,
to even care.
obviously, yes.
Yeah.
But No, it's cute. It's for $8. I'm
All right.
I'm Wingardium Leviosaing. Why not?
I understand it's a lot like Pipe Dream. Is that accurate?
It's
More like Lemmings.
Yeah.
It's exactly like Pipe Dreams if Pipe Dreams was like waving a stick in front of your TV.
Okay,
So like
That's
surfing
excellent.
porn.
I've done that.
Yeah, kind of like that. But,
So it's kind of like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which you also listed down here.
I picked see this was this is actually what sort of prompted me to get back into Bioshock because I broke down and got Revengeance this week.
Yeah.
Actually, I broke down and got Revengeance for $20 brand new. So
Nice.
Not bad.
yes, thank you. Target pricing error. So someone at Target put their games in the wrong little bin, and it said $20 on the sign, and I tried to buy it, and they rung it up, and they said, "Okay, it'll be like $65." To which I
You're
said,
like, oh no, wait.
"Thing says 20. Is that not right?" And the guy went over there and said, "Oh, okay, I'll just mark it down." And I said,
Perfect.
"Okay then, I'll
You're
take it."
goddamn right you will.
Here's
Yes.
my money.
I'm surprised you didn't go out and buy that when it came out, Phil. You're a Metal Gear fan.
I
You're
am a
big
Metal Gear fan, and I liked the demo, but when it came out, there was I had a bunch of other stuff on my plate, and no job.
Yeah.
So I was
That
like,
would do it,
you
yeah.
know,
That'll do it.
I believe I actually said on the show that the $60 is a little too much for me right now. Maybe I'll get it when it's like 20.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Good
And
call.
here we are. So, so I played like the first mission and a half or so, and was actually really getting a kick out of it, and figured, oh, you know what? If I dive into this full steam, I'll definitely never finish Bioshock. So I should just get that out of the way first before I jump into this. But
Well, you're getting close
Good call.
on Bioshock.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
You're almost
Good.
there.
Good.
You're almost to the
Nice.
point where you can listen to the spoiler cast.
yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I figured we'd just record another spoiler cast once I finish.
Sure, absolutely.
Good.
I
That
don't
way
see why
we can
not.
hear you doing your one-man barbershop quartet version of God Only Knows.
Oh,
That was the best part of that game.
It may well have been, to be honest.
What about walking
Oh, no.
around the beach and hearing everybody having their conversations on the beach?
Is
Were
that
there
that's-
conversations?
Is that where you're at still,
Yeah.
CJ? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm past that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much past that? Have you found Elizabeth yet?
Where
Oh,
are
well,
you?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
I have
If
found
you're at the
Elizabeth.
beach, you have Elizabeth.
Yeah, that's true. So
All right. So speaking of finishing games, let's blow through your two games here, Greg. Castlevania: Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate, and Spec Ops: The Line.
oh,
Castlevania, the game, the 3DS game that I warned everyone off of and didn't really like it that much, and finished 100%.
Oh my
Wow.
God! Why did you do that?
Because it wasn't that much of a task, to be honest. It wasn't very long. I
Are you
shouldn't say that.
still-
Actually, it's probably close to 10 hours.
You still
Really?
recommend I do not get this game then? Because
No, I recommend you. I recommend you try it
sort
if,
of want it.
if
Okay.
it's cheap.
hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it anymore. I feel I want to say I didn't like it, but I actually was really compelled to keep playing the whole time. So, I guess one of the reasons why is that I was a huge fan of Lords of Shadow, which
Yep.
Mike, I know you
As
really
am
like
I.
that game as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
And this game, the whole reason for this game is to sort of fill you in a little bit more on their idea of what the reboot is. So you've got characters whose names you recognize, but really in this whole rebooted universe, you don't know where they kind of fit into the grand scheme of things. And Mirror of Fate, that's the whole point of the game.
Well,
And
to be fair, the only name that I recognize from Lords of Shadow is Patrick Stewart, and I don't think that that's specifically a character.
Well, you might be wrong.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. You're not wrong. But yeah, the thing is that this game includes Simon Belmont, Trevor Belmont, and
okay.
Alucard. So
Cool.
they're all characters that old school fans would recognize the names, but they obviously don't just slot into this universe very well, considering who Gabriel was. So Yeah, it's worth playing just to kind of get up to date on that, and I feel like it might be important information for when the Lords of Shadow sequel finally comes out. So I would actually suggest playing it. I'm just saying don't go pay full price for it. Like rent it or get it for like $15 or something like that.
Maybe check out Target and see if they put it in the wrong.
Hey, maybe that was the game that was supposed to be $20.
Yeah, could have been. Actually, no, it was one of the older Assassin's Creed games.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, I ended up enjoying it. And you get a little extra cinema at the end if you do 100%, and 100% is really easy to do in that game. Because they attempt to do what all of the I can't stop looking at Finn waving at the camera.
He's getting ready for bed. He's in his jammies now, so
they attempt to do what all the old Game Boy Advance and DS games did, like that kind of Metroid style exploration, but it's not done very well. So the areas are really small, and there's never really any question about where you have to go to find all the hidden stuff. It's more of a okay, when I get this power, I'll be back here, and it's only going to be 10, 15 minutes from now anyway.
It didn't seem very vertical in the demo, which you would sort of need for a map like that. Does that change from the demo?
No, not really.
That's weird.
And the thing is that you play 3 different chapters, where the 3 characters that I mentioned, that's who you play as, and they're not really related. There's some areas that are sort of related, but it's not like the old castles where you're in an area that's kind of themed a certain way, and then you move to different areas. It's more of you're Simon, and here are the six areas you'll be exploring, and it's very linear. And then now you're Trevor, and here's the half dozen areas you'll be exploring, and you can't go outside of that. So that's why I say I don't want to recommend the game, really.
But just enjoyed it.
But I enjoyed it, and I know as somebody who is a Lords of Shadow fan, I think you probably enjoy it too.
Okay. I will probably check it out because I have remained interested. I just had your voice in the back of my head sounding very nonplussed all the time.
I hope I've set your expectations properly.
Yeah, I think I'm there now.
The other game that I played through was Spec Ops, which I know, Mike, also you're a fan of.
Was that the PS Plus freebie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, it's a game where Mike had been talking of for quite a while, and I knew a bunch of other people who played it and really enjoyed it. I knew it was only like 6 hours long or something like that.
Yeah, but short.
Is it really that short?
Yeah, it's not a very long game. And I kind of wanted to do it more than anything else to get it off my hard drive.
Nice. Man.
So, no, I hate it's not you know what I mean. It's just it's like I had finished up some other games, and it's like, well, this is a good opportunity to kind of this is one that I can get through fast. I've always wanted to experience it, and I've never really found the time to play it.
Sure.
Let's get it done. And it was really good, actually.
Yeah.
Even from a gameplay standpoint, I mean, I guess you could say that it's not really exceptional gameplay-wise, but I really enjoyed the gameplay a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a part where that's the thing where I have to admit that maybe I'm just a Philistine and I don't understand the nuances of control in a third-person shooter, because when people said that mechanically it's not as good as Gears of War, it felt every bit as good as Gears of War to me. I mean, it feels as good as Gears of War or Uncharted. It's nothing extraordinary, but it plays perfectly well.
And it puts you in really, actually, I think it honestly puts you in some very interesting settings, maybe even more so than Gears of War ever did.
Yeah.
The whole premise of the backdrop is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the idea. And in the beginning, they hit you with it really fast, where you're hitting like all these places where you're actually really high up, but everything's covered in sand, and you hit these sinkholes, and you end up inside these buildings, and how shooting out windows to cover enemies in an avalanche of sand is an actual gameplay element. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there that I really like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that even though it's a squad-based shooter, you really don't need to worry about your squad. The AI is good enough, and I only think I had to try to revive them like maybe a half dozen times in the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And the story was great. I really enjoyed the story.
It's interesting, and it's interesting to I think they cheat a little bit, but I think that they're sort of entitled to in a game like that. But it makes it interesting to go back and just not play through the game entirely once again, but just start it up once again and play like the first hour or so and see what you notice, knowing what you know from the end of the game.
Yeah, I kind of actually want to do that. I don't know if I ever will. I might just go look up like a long play of it or something and sort of sit through it, because I agree. Like, there were some liberties taken there where it's like, meh, I don't know if I really want to go along with this. But at the same time, I was enjoying the game so much that finally just like, yeah, sure, what the hell.
Right.
This has been great.
And there are some things that it does for the sake of the story where you think, well, I mean, like, I should have a choice here, but I don't have a choice. Or it's presenting this to me as if I have a choice, but there really isn't a choice. So it does some of that stuff that actually Bioshock does some of that kind of stuff too. But I think it's fair play in trying to tell the story that they're telling.
But yeah, it's just a really cool little game. I don't know, Phil, if you'd really dig it or not, because I know you're not a big shooter guy. But you might.
Well, it's very serious and military, hoorah kind of stuff too. So
I've heard though that the story is good and interesting.
It's unique.
It is.
I've been told that I should just put it kind of like Bioshock, put it on easy and go through just to see the story.
Yeah. And it's got some really good characters as well. Yeah. Actually, it's something that Infinite kind of really fails at, where the first Bioshock had some really interesting characters and Infinite doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, Spec Ops really does. The enemies and your allies are all very well developed characters, which is, I think, is what really helps with the story.
Yeah, maybe I will give it a go, especially if it's only like the 6 hours long, like you said.
Yeah.
And CJ, long. I think you would enjoy it.
Okay.
Because I know you've dug like some of the Tom Clancy games in the past.
Yeah, I have.
So I think you'd really dig it.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
I've
also
downloaded it as well. So
if you are a fan of the film Apocalypse Now or the book Heart of Darkness, you would definitely enjoy it as well.
All right.
Okay.
By the way, Sleeping Dogs free on
that's
PS
fucking
Plus.
Awesome.
Yes, it is.
That game is great.
Downloaded that immediately. And God of War 1 and 2 HD were up free as a mistake.
Whoops.
And I was able to nab them while they were free. Yeah.
Well, you were nothing more than a common thief.
I love that there's a critter behind you, CJ.
There's a critter behind me,
There's a critter behind you.
Yeah.
She just
There
disappeared.
might be two of them.
I believe it's technically called a krite.
Something new every day.
That was a slightly obscure reference.
Critters too.
That was a Critters reference, yes.
Oh.
I see.
All right. Slightly obscure.
How about we take a break, do some tweets, and then call it an episode?
I think that's a good idea.
All right.
Sweet.
I will be right back.
Capune.
All right.
Check the score.
Yeah.
Well,
he's got a recording, right? It's on pause in the background.
I'll just tell him who won when he comes back. We have a quick look here.
Excellent. Did you guys watch the Blood Dragon live action trailer thing that somebody did?
No.
I did not.
It's pretty funny. Funny stuff.
I actually can't. I may be dumb, which is why I didn't say this when we were actually, in the middle of it. I still am not clear on what exactly it's parodying, because
it's parodying 80s sci-fi badness, like bad, low-budget 80s sci-fi movies.
Like what, though? Because it doesn't really look or feel like any of them. Like, there's the gun from RoboCop, but nothing in the game seems like RoboCop. And there's the music from Terminator, but nothing in the game really seems like Terminator.
Sure. There are a couple sequences that are parodying Predator. Terminator is a definite influence. I can send you an enlightening web page that tells you all of the references if you're interested in that. Okay.
Sure. I mean, I guess just a mere reference to something doesn't feel like
seems
parody.
A bit atrocious.
It doesn't seem
like
exactly
the
like
Sally thing
parody to me
Predator
necessarily.
also, right?
Yeah.
And the song at the very end of the game is from some movie that I've never seen, but is apparently awful.
What song is it?
I did like when he gets the kill star or whatever it's called. He says that he's got the touch. He's got the power.
Got the power. Yeah, Transformers. Obviously,
I prefer to consider that a Boogie Nights reference, but sure.
Yeah, Phil, have you ever seen the movie Miami Connection? Have you heard of that movie? I have not either. So I didn't get the song that plays at the end. But
CJ, I noticed a Transformers movie reference in Robot Unicorn Attack 2.
Yes.
I was very pleased to see that.
Well, yeah.
I love also, by the way, that you watched, I assume for Stream On, that you watched Electric Dreams.
No.
That was just for your own personal
just for
pleasure?
my own personal.
Good God. So
that movie is amazing.
The funny thing about that is while I was in Chicago, one night I just ate at the hotel's restaurant, which was a bad idea, but I'm sitting there and the theme song from Electric Dreams comes on. Holy, when would you ever hear this song ever?
That is so great. Such a great song.
Bad.
I think we know what our break music is this week.
We've used it as break music.
Have we really?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I got home, as a result of that, I went to YouTube and looked up, and there is a live performance of Human League doing Electric Dreams, obviously like 30 years after the fact, and it is sad.
Oh, God. That's amazing. But the montage
pan out to the audience
that plays
with
over...
their arms up, singing along. Ugh.
The montage that it plays over in the movie is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So horrible.
That movie is...
The movie's not very good. The movie is not good.
Not very
I remember
good,
really liking
generous.
it when I was 7 years old. I liked it, but God, it's terrible. It's really bad.
The computer's voice is maybe the best thing in the whole show.
Definitely, yeah. Can't beat Bud Cort doing some voice acting.
Yeah.
Anyway, and we're back.
In
case you forgot, you're listening to the Player One podcast, your number 4 podcast for Kickstarter money begging.
Yeah. And congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins, by the way.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, wow.
But is he telling the truth, or
now
was
it
that
doesn't
another?
matter. It doesn't matter if they win or lose now. He's a dick no matter what.
You know what? You know what?
What's that?
I think he's telling the truth.
It occurs to me, though, that I didn't bother to extend the recording that's paused behind me right now, so if it went more than a full overtime period, I'm not going to see the end of the game anyway.
There you go.
That sounds like
that was worth every ounce of your hatred.
Good times. All right. Let's do some tweets. Let's do this one.
You're way too pleased with yourself.
From Hacker Alias.
That was the third most impassioned "go fuck yourself" I've ever received in my life. And considering that the other two were from my wife, you're in good company.
Awesome. All right. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Remy the Robot.
Love that guy.
Who says, with the user base being so high for 360 and PS3, how long do you think publishers will make cross-gen games over the next few years?
Over the next few years.
Not long.
Really?
You don't think it'll be
think
that
so?
long? I think it will be at least 3 years.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For what, though? Like, what? I mean, take sports games out of the mix. Sports games, that makes sense. But
I think all of your yearly series, like Assassin's Creed,
like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, really?
Yeah, I think you'll definitely see them on current gen.
I think so too.
For 3 more years.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so much invested in those games that they have to.
There's so much
specific.
There's so much invested in those games, plus the 360 and PS3 are still selling pretty well, considering that we're on the cusp of a new generation of consoles.
That's true. That is true.
I think Call of Duty, for one thing, is going to be it's the series that a lot of people might just stick with current gen for a while and see how next gen shakes out before purchasing another $500 console. People might just stick with current gen until 2014. For that reason.
Yeah.
It's not like Activision is going to make the next Call of Duty. I mean, obviously they've already announced it, but it's not going to be exclusive for a next gen system.
I wouldn't expect this year to be not even next year actually. But I'm curious, like, do you foresee it being the same game across all those platforms, or do you foresee them doing what they did when they made the transition to this generation, which was generation-specific versions? Because there was like Big Red 1, and I forget what the other one was, but Treyarch was basically doing the last-gen stuff for 2 years.
Yeah, I think we may eventually see that, but it'll probably be cross-platform for quite a while. And the lead SKUs, I think... may end up being the current gen.
That is interesting, though. I didn't think of that, and it does make sense to have like B teams working on the old generation, doing versions of Call of Duty or something like that.
Not to mention, if you were a fan of the series, it made it worth buying those if you held onto your systems.
So they sort of doubled up, yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and I assume your 3-year prediction is based on these new systems coming out and being successful.
But slowly successful.
Slowly successful.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think this fall is going to be super interesting to watch. I mean, Microsoft and Sony releasing consoles within, a month of each other.
Next 2 weeks is going to be super interesting to watch.
There's that too. There's that too. But I mean, I think people are going to have to decide which. I don't think most gamers are like, well, I'm just going to buy both. I think there will be a period where, at least this fall, it's like, well, the games that I want to play, Watch Dogs, Call of Duty, the next Assassin's Creed, those are all coming out for the current gen. Why don't I just sit this out and wait?
I've actually heard surprisingly few people say that they were going to get both consoles, even among my friends who are automatically buying both consoles. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, it depends largely on what Microsoft ends up announcing, I'm sure.
But I guess, to me, the bigger question isn't necessarily who's getting both consoles, but how fast people are going to adopt a new console in general.
Right,
The Wii U notwithstanding, but because this has been a long generation as far as video game consoles go. I mean, longer than anything else in recent memory. So, like, to me, it feels like there has to be a level of wanting to jump onto something new soon. That being said, of course, the market's more split than it's ever been. As far as
it's been a long time for the current generation, and the last few launches of new video game hardware have not really gone all that well. 3DS, Vita, Wii U, and those may be because those lineups weren't great. Nintendo effed it up.
Even the PS3 took a hell of a long time to hit its stride, really.
It definitely did, and
it was and that was a combination of, obviously, Microsoft doing a lot of things right, them doing a lot of things wrong, and the fact that they were following up one of the most successful systems of all time.
Yep.
Right. And you have more tech gadgets competing for people's money.
Yeah, that's to me is a bigger concern
than any other console launch time in the past. So, all right, let's do this one from hacker alias Broganov. How hard is it to not cash grab your fans?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I'm sure you guys have been curious. Like, if we did a Kickstarter, what would we?
I think it'd be very disappointing.
I think so too. I can't imagine.
I think it would be disappointing as well. And
yes,
and I
think we might get upwards of $100. Although if we set that,
I would be slightly fearful to start one with a ceiling higher than $10.
We'd be more disappointed than Melissa Joan Hart if we started a Kickstarter. That's my opinion there.
I'm not even curious.
Yeah, I'm not curious. Well, I'm slightly curious, and then I become uncurious.
I mean, my hope is,
Interested,
and it should,
not interested.
It should be noted that as far as I understand, CJ basically foots the bill his damn self, because I certainly have never given any money. And I would hope that if it ever got to the point where you needed some damn money, you would ask us for some damn money before we asked our listeners for some damn money, because I would be happy to contribute.
So, I mean, the good thing is that it turns out 1 or 2 or 3 people donate every couple months, which takes care of the hosting cost for the podcast.
Thank you many times over to those
and we don't
people.
We do not have to beg all that much. Although there is a donate button on player1podcast.com, so if you want to, certainly do not let me discourage you from clicking that and giving whatever you feel necessary.
Let's beat that Penny Arcade podcast, folks. We can do it.
I don't think.
But the production of the podcast would never be contingent upon anything like that.
No, that's what pisses me off about it. Right? It is literally turning on a microphone while they work.
Yeah.
It's
for
nice
me,
to say you want to hire a production guy and all that stuff, but I mean, we each spend $100 or so on our mics, I think.
Yeah.
And we have the website that CJ foots the bill for. But otherwise, I don't know.
For me, I just like being, having listeners that jump on a forum and want to interact or talk with us.
Yeah, me too. The community is one of the big things I love about this.
Or watch us record this thing live on YouTube.
Makes me worry about them, but yeah, it's cool.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess I could see in a way, like if we were all geographically in the same area, and we had a plan that we could lay out and for things like specific like interviews or guests or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be different.
Maybe that would mean something. You want like a studio area or something like that. But
if we were all in the same room, you'd probably want a mixer and discrete mics for everybody. For it to sound halfway decent. But
let's get the Kickstarter going so we can get that compound that we talked about.
But
no.
But for the Penny Arcade guys, I mean, turning on the microphone while they work, they were talking about things like a nicer studio area. Well, they're not really going to change where they design their comics. Right. You put up some sponge for some sound deadening and stuff like that. And professionally produced, why? Why?
You don't need to.
If it's a good recording, you don't need to do anything that much with it. And as far as like a theme song goes, are you telling me that they couldn't put something on their forums to say, hey,
I know.
We do a theme like we did a contest and we had a lot of entries and we didn't give anybody anything and they could say do a theme song.
We gave
the winner some games.
One game. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 2 games.
2 games?
But like they could easily say something like, we'll give you this much merchandise from our store or something like that.
Yeah.
And they would get thousands of entries.
We'll draw a quick sketch for you.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
They get thousands
they'd get a bunch.
Put you in a
5
comic.
minutes. Spend 5 minutes and make a quick sketch, and you'll get some quality theme songs.
Yeah.
But
all right, hit that donate button on player. No. All right, so let's do Hacker Alias. The Dustin Thomas, who asks, the Dustin Thomas.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. He says, if Link to the Past 2 doesn't live up to the hype, would it damage the legacy of the original?
No.
A Link to the Past is beyond reproach, beyond criticism.
Yeah.
It's true.
Forever.
Although, if it is bad, it will be called a stink to the ass poo. So, part of me hopes that it does kind of suck. So,
are you reading that out of your Weird Al parody journal that you keep?
Hey, I send the man ideas once a week.
I get a form letter once a year.
Just
please stop mailing us.
Yeah.
All right. Hacker alias Mamarath asks, what are some of the nicest / highest quality strategy guides you've seen over the years?
The Ni no Kuni one's really nice.
Ni no Kuni,
The Ni no
absolutely.
Kuni one is really
Yeah.
nice. Versus books always did good stuff
Yes.
back in the day.
I liked when Nintendo was doing guides. Their
yeah.
later Pokemon guides were great.
Yeah, they're the official Nintendo players guides.
Yeah,
The ones that
those
were
were
actually
awesome.
published by Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a whole shelf behind me that's strategy guides.
Yeah.
For games he's
They're
never
really
played.
Yep.
No, for games that I have played.
I thought the Die Hard, I think it was Die Hard Game Fan, did a couple strategy guides for fighting games, like some Capcom fighting games. I have the one for
They did a couple for Resident Evil games as well.
Was it?
I have one for Vampire Savior that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, they did some pretty good stuff too. Yeah.
The Ni no
Those are the
Kuni
big
guide,
ones.
by the way, by friend of the show, Howard Grossman.
Oh yeah, that's
really?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh,
Is he actually a friend of the show?
Well,
Or listen to the show? He's a guy we worked with like
guy we used to
15
work
years
with.
ago.
so
Guy
he's
who
a
worked at Ziff
person. He's a
years
person
and
we
years
know.
ago. Yes.
Working Designs used to put out really nice strategy guides.
Oh
for
yeah,
games.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
they
yes,
did.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Absolutely. Mike, do you use strategy guides?
I have never purchased a strategy guide in my life.
Really?
Wow.
Really.
Not even an official Nintendo player's guide or how to win at Super Mario Brothers?
Oh, those books were great.
No.
Those were fantastic.
How
I
to
still have
win
those.
at Nintendo games.
I used to have some of those books as well. The How to Win
Oh, yeah?
Nintendo games.
That's
I
pretty
liked
funny.
the VHS tapes that were
I still
released
have
by
some
the
of those
U.S.
VHS
National
tapes.
Video Game
Mhm.
Team.
Yeah, I have those tapes.
I have those tapes. Those are great. So
I
at some
do.
point, I
I
have
do.
to digitize those and put them online. or
I
something.
don't have them from back in the day. I bought them, within the past few years. So
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I have one for 2600 games as well.
Do you really?
I
Cool.
do.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
pretty excellent. All right.
Do you have a strategy guide for 2600 games?
Not a strategy guide, a strategy videotape. Video cassette.
For which
Did you ever-
which game?
Have you never seen
It's
these
for a
videos,
bunch of
Mike?
different games. It's for many games. It's for like 15 different games.
What? Give us an example of one that's on the tape.
I don't know. There's like a Centipede strategy guide thing, strategy portion. I don't remember exactly. It's been years since I've seen it. I don't.
the centipede.
Before it is.
I haven't
Dodge
watched
the
it in
enemy.
years, so I can't give you any.
Do you have any patches
Specific
from
examples.
Activision?
No, I do
2600
not.
games?
Mike-
That was before my time. Before
I
my
have
time.
patches.
I have one patch.
Which one?
Kaboom.
Nope.
No?
No, I was terrible at Kaboom.
Okay.
Kaboom
loved
was
Kaboom.
Kaboom was the only game my dad could beat me at.
I was awesome at Kaboom. I have
my
the
dad
patch
was-
for Kaboom.
My dad was really good at beating me otherwise, but as far as games go, Kaboom was really the
He
only
could
one.
beat me with a leather strap and Kaboom. And that was
At the same time.
Yeah, that's how
Yikes.
good he was at that game. So, no, Laser Blast is the game for which I earned a patch.
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you have some, Mike?
Yeah, I had Kaboom and
Nice.
Enduro, which is actually the game that I was best at. Megamania,
Okay.
and I believe it's either Barnstorming or Chopper Command. I want to say it was Barnstorming because I
Barnstorming. That game was
don't
so
think I was
hard.
good. It was hard, but yeah, that was a good game.
Kid.
I wonder if my old Laser Blast patch is up in my parents' attic or something right now.
Call your mom right
Probably
now.
is.
One of these
My
days.
mom
I gotta-
sewed
do a
mine
live
up to
call.
a jacket.
Was it a jean jacket?
It was a jean jacket that I never wore because even as a child, I thought I can't wear a jean jacket with a Megamania patch on it. I just can't do it.
Aw.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike was a jock.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of jocks, hacker alias Rich Grisham. I don't know.
Whoa.
Is he a jock? He does the sports gaming.
I know he
podcast.
often wears a jock and
All right, he
nothing
says-
else.
Picks, please.
with 3 straight system launches, 3DS, Vita, Wii U, that at best
Is it time
trailed
for some gay system launches?
sailed what? That at best trailed sales expectations. Will PS4 and/or next Xbox buck the trend?
I don't know what the expectations are.
I guess failing to meet
for the
target
next
sales.
I mean, yeah, it's 3DS, Vita, Wii U didn't do as well as expectations by a lot, it seemed.
Well, we'll have to see how much they cost, I think.
Yeah,
first.
Yeah, I think that
a few too many variables still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's going to be big. Plus, how many can they manufacture very quickly? Because remember the PS3.
Oh my god!
Oh,
that was ugh.
Some stores get 8.
Yeah.
I still remember driving by and seeing super long
Fan-tastic.
lines at GameStop because there was a rumor that they might have 2 or 3 Wii consoles in.
Oh, yeah.
If I had to guess, though, I would say I don't think that they're going to do well for a while. I think it's going to be a while before they catch on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Depending on the games, I guess. I mean, that's the huge variable is we haven't seen enough of the games yet to know whether or not they're going to be enough to get people to want to buy one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I guess the
Sony conference is going to make people rush out and buy it.
Yeah.
I guess the good thing is that since both consoles appear to be based upon PC architecture this time around, that there will at least be PC ports ported to these.
That could be good or bad, though,
systems.
because in my case, if that's the case, I'll just say, well, then I have a PC. Thank you very much.
But achievements and trophies and the other
Let me
stuff.
tell you about a guy who used to really love achievements and trophies and stuff. I'm wearing his underpants, and I don't know why, but I don't give a shit about him anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
Neither do I.
Same here.
And I was huge on them for a long time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, me too. Not anymore, though.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I got to I think I had 80,000 or so gamer score on Xbox before I got rid of my Xbox, and I'm level 17 or 18 on trophies, and I don't know. It just, at a certain point, it gets a little tedious trying to chase them down.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, I mean, there was a sort of a meta game there for people where there was a real competition, especially back in the early days of the Xbox, because remember we've talked about this before. Like everybody played the same games, right? Like when a new AAA game come out, and you go on your friends list, and everybody was playing it that week,
which does not happen anymore.
There was a level of competition there, I think, outside of just playing multiplayer, where it's like I was more complete on this than you, or I was able to complete it faster or something like that. And it just kind of...
That's true.
As the library sort of grew and diversified, it kind of died.
I think also the nature of some of these achievements have changed. Earlier on...
You don't get any press start achievements anymore.
Earlier on, it was easier to get more points out of a game for just completing it, and now I feel like completing the game only gets you half or like a quarter of the achievements.
I call bullshit on that, sir.
There are a lot of games that are like headshot X number of enemies with a particular weapon, and there'll be 5 of those types of achievements.
You go back and look at
I have to go
Perfect Dark and Call of Duty 2, and you'll see you're completely wrong.
Well, those are 2 games I didn't give a shit about. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Let's do this one from Hacker alias Jerkface Killa, who says, any of you interested in the HD re-release of Resident Evil Revelations? I'm playing it on 3DS now for the first time with the Control Pad Pro.
No.
I'm not interested in that.
Mildly. I've heard it's quite good.
Yeah. There's a demo out on the Wii U.
Oh, yeah?
Is that the Wii U game that they're doing? Or am I wrong?
I'm not. I have no idea.
Anyway,
some Resident Evil demo. It would take
Wii
something significant at this point for me to be interested in anything that begins with the words Resident Evil and then is followed by another word.
That's true. True. All right, let's wrap it up with this tweet from Hacker alias Mudron.
Yes.
who says Donkey Kong 3DS comes out a week from Friday. So I guess, yeah.
Is that a question or just a statement?
No, he says, anyone on the podcast thinking of getting it?
No. And I suggest anyone who didn't play the Wii version go out and buy this version.
Yeah.
Is it just the Wii version?
It's
I
the Wii
believe it's
version
been
made slightly.
updated a bit.
Yeah, there are a couple of things that have been changed, and they've added. I think you can get hit another.
Yeah, something like
at
that.
least once or twice more than you could in the Wii version.
It's apparently been
And
made
it doesn't have waggle.
handheld friendly. Yeah.
It doesn't have waggle.
So it's a fantastic game. The
It is a
Wii
good
version
game.
was a
Yes,
great
yes.
game, and I will not spend money on it again.
Agreed. That's where I'm at
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Game and okay.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here.
Animal Crossing, though.
It's
yes.
too early. It's too early for Wii game remakes on a 3DS.
Yeah,
I'm down with the high res N64 stuff and all that, but yeah, remaking Wii games, no, not yet.
Yeah.
The Wii U hasn't even taken off yet.
All right.
Yes.
Alrighty, and that's our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question you'd like to ask us, you can deliver that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our website, player1podcast.com. If you go to player1podcast.com/341, you can get the show notes from this episode and leave your comment right there. Or you can visit our message board, where we're going to be discussing this episode with us and other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
The Player One Podcast iPhone application gives you one-touch communication with us via the voicemails, the emails, the Twitter, what have you. We also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android telephone users, Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. You can also check us out on the Stitcher. And you can head over to Facebook and give us a like. And you can check us out live most weeks on YouTube if you want to see us record our show.
And why wouldn't you want to do that?
Why wouldn't
I
you?
mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's free.
Follow our Twitter account to find out when we are broadcasting our next live show.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong, Greg?
I just you're
Live show.
You should tell people where to follow you individually on Twitter, because you never do that.
Oh, should we? Because the outro needs to be longer?
It's
I
surprisingly
have gotten
short this week.
emails from several listeners requesting that the outro go at least a good minute or two longer.
Okay. CJ, what's your Twitter?
I am at SuperPAC without
Excellent.
a K. PAC.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I was surprised during the last election. Nobody approached me to get that Twitter handle. I was waiting. I was waiting for an offer of cash, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Kickstarted it.
We were gonna sell.
But I did get plenty of
Twitter
ad
name.
replies from people who meant to just hashtag.
Yes. Yes.
So, there you go.
Greg?
You can find me at Sewart, SEWART. Not Stewart.
At Stewart. Oh, wait, what?
Exactly.
I'm
Mike?
guessing the guy who is at Stewart gets a lot of tweets that were meant to go to you.
Probably. Mine
shoot
is
that
Mormon Rage, and I was offered around $6,000 for that handle during the last election.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yep.
Nice.
Wow.
Damn. That's
Wow.
some sweet, sweet money.
From a mysterious benefactor?
Yes.
And I am Whimsical Phil on the Twitter, so
There you are.
there you go. Those are our individual Twitter accounts, and then the show's is P1 Podcast, and that's the numeral
That's right.
1.
Numeral
So,
1.
There you go. You can follow
And
us
hey,
on
while we're
Twitter.
plugging things,
Yeah?
Phil, you have an
Plug,
action
plug.
figure podcast. points of articulation.
I do. Myself and actually the
Dustin Chang.
star of the show is Dustin Chang, who
TJ just stole your thunder there.
I know, right?
Wow.
Former editor at Nintendo Power, so we talk about mostly Transformers and Lego.
Donna Chang?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
That's Donna Chang.
And CJ
Who
has
was Changstein.
a podcast too.
I do. It's called The Stream On Show.
Yeah.
Go to streamonshow.com. Listen to episodes of that. We talk about movies.
Crappy
Or if
movies.
you want to just go look at or listen and watch stuff about video games, you could just go check out Generation 16 on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And even when I'm getting bored of the outro,
It's going on a few minutes longer.
yeah.
Hey, Mike, when's the next episode of the Fanboys Lunchcast?
I recommend you go to RedTube and search under the category Teens, and then click on Most Favored, and you'll find lots of good videos there.
Yikes.
Okay, here we
All
go.
right. Well,
It's funny that's where I was going right after we finished recording.
Only if you're over 14, though, please.
What in tarnation? Them ladies don't have any clothes on.
alrighty.
So I kind of like that one. It was good. My grizzled old prospector discovering the internet. Well, what's going on here?
Does that mean we're done?
I think
think
it's
so.
we're done.
I think that might just mean that thing.
That feller
All
just
right.
put a bottle in his backside. That's not right.
Yikes.
That's Mike's other favorite RedTube search.
Next week, folks. Next week.
All right. Later.
Bye-bye.